Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, Quincy Animal Shelter President Sandra Sines and Liz Henderson, the shelter's new Director of Intake and Operations, will be joining us for an update. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, a mix of sun and clouds. It's 37 degrees right now. It'll be breezy today with the temperature topping out around 40 degrees this afternoon. Cloudy tonight, cold again, low around 20. Tomorrow is kind of the calm before the storm. The clouds will increase throughout the day. The wind will die down. Tomorrow's highs into the mid-30s. The snow will arrive late tomorrow night, probably after 10 o'clock, and then continue into about midday on Sunday with accumulations of anywhere from 4 to 8 inches by Sunday afternoon, and high Sunday into the low 30s, down into the teens Sunday night, and looks pretty nice on Monday, just a few clouds around. Otherwise sunny with a high Monday in the low 30s. Again, partly sunny, 37 degrees in Quincy, windy right now. Checking out the news for you today. Well, some more details are being released about the plans to celebrate Quincy's 400th anniversary as a settlement this year. Recently, Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch unveiled plans for a waterfront maritime festival, a hot air balloon festival in September, a drone show, and internationally renowned musical performances. The mayor says there will be something for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, I think there's going to be something here for everybody, yeah. Joe. You know, maybe you're not a parade person, maybe you're not a concert person, but maybe you like to sit and listen to an author talk about their books. You know, so I think there's going to be an array of things for people to avail themselves to and enjoy the year.
Some other plans include a lecture series, notable authors, including Dennis Lehane, a history lesson from General Joseph Dunford, former Governor Charlie Baker speaking about his experiences in the NCAA, and some museum exhibits. The centerpiece of the celebration, though, will be a greatly expanded Flag Day parade on June 14th, plus a second fireworks display later in the year. The mayor says that Santander Bank has donated $100,000 for the celebrations, making them the first major sponsor. Well, the Quincy Chamber of Commerce has a new president. The board recently appointed Julie Pagano to succeed Tim Cahill, who departed recently to become president of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce. Pagano has been general manager of Bay State Cruises in Boston for 25 years, also has over 40 years experience in the hospitality industry. Pagano also served on the board of directors for Discover Quincy and the Boston Concierge Association. She was the longtime fiancée of the late Congressman William Delahunt and also served a key role in the Delahunt Group. Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell will be the keynote speaker at this year's Quincy College commencement exercises on May 19th at the Boston Marriott Hotel in Quincy. Campbell was elected Attorney General in 2022, previously served as a member of the Boston City Council. She became the first black woman to serve as Boston City Council President in 2018. Campbell also served as a legal counsel to former Governor Deval Patrick, general counsel at the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, and as a legal services and employment attorney. Quincy College President Dr. Rick DeCristofaro said that graduates and their families will be inspired by her personal and professional experience. 14 new correctional officers recently graduated from the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office Training Academy. The officers were sworn in during a ceremony at the Endicott Estate in Dedham by Norfolk County Sheriff Pat McDermott. McDermott says the theme of this academy was Accountability Matters. He offered high praise for his training staff led by Commander Captain Francis Reynolds. Academy class leader Ryan Beretti thanked the instructors for the training they received. He said the class faced physical and mental challenges that taught them integrity, compassion, and dedication. MBTA police are asking for the public's help in identifying a suspect who attacked a disabled person at the North Quincy T station recently. Police say this man assaulted a person on a Red Line train on January 29th, just after 11:30 a.m. And no details were released about the actual assault or about the victim's injuries. But police say they are trying to identify this man. Anybody with information is asked to contact T Police at 617-222-1050. Tons of trash and debris were removed from 5 of the Boston Harbor Islands during a once-in-a-generation cleanup that took place last fall. Over 100 volunteers scoured Great Brewster, Middle Brewster, Outer Brewster, Calf, and Lovell's Islands, picking up everything from water bottles and nips to wood, metal, derelict fishing gear, and some old boat parts. The historic effort was made possible with a $3 million grant from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Some other funding was provided from the Department of Conservation and Recreation, the National Park Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Center for Coastal Studies. All that debris collected will be documented, recycled when possible, and disposed of properly. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, the Quincy Animal Shelter preparing to move into their new home soon. We will get an update next. Welcome back. The Quincy Animal Shelter preparing to move into their brand spanking new headquarters up off Quarry Street very soon. So Sandra Saenz is here along with another newbie to the shelter, Liz Henderson. So ladies, welcome. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra, great to see you again. And Liz, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
For the first time, but hopefully not the last time.
Definitely.
This is our first shelter update, Sandra, for 2025. But
Yes.
certainly not the last one, right?
Right.
How's things going?
Things are going great.
Yeah.
Very busy time for us with the move.
You're still at the East Quantum Street temporary
Yes.
shelter.
Yep. And hopefully just for a few more weeks.
Really?
So we're going to stop moving to Quarry Street the last week in February.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll be settled in the first week in March.
Wow. Okay. So it's here.
Yeah,
After
it
all
is
these
here.
years. Yeah. How
Yep.
does that feel?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been 10 years. It'll be 10 years in May, to be exact.
Wow.
And but once you see the building and all of the opportunities that's going to be there for us, it's totally worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know, so.
We'll have to take a tour and let
yeah.
folks get a behind-the-scenes look. Yeah. One of the biggest changes, though, is the shelter staff is growing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Liz is here, and she's brand new.
Yeah, we're so excited. So, you know, the volunteers have always been the backbone
Certainly.
of our success,
Yep.
and that's never going to change. I mean, we have 133 volunteers,
amazing.
and we now have 3 full-time paid staff and 2 part-time. And the reason that we had to make that change was partly because of the new building. There's going to be a lot more responsibility, and there's a lot more tasks that are just too much to ask of a volunteer. And also a lot of state regulations that we're accountable for, that again, it's just too much to put on the back of a volunteer. So because we have to be accountable and we have to make sure that we're in compliance.
Okay.
So that's a big reason for it. Also, in the new building, we're going to be open 5 days a week.
Wow.
Where right now we're only open 1 day a week,
Yeah.
and we definitely need staff to cover those hours.
Of course. Yeah. That is huge.
Yeah.
It's
But
really.
we're very excited about Liz.
Yeah. Tell me about Liz, and then we'll
I
talk
will.
to Liz. Yeah.
Liz is our director of intake and adoptions,
Okay.
and that is a really big role. Those were jobs that were in the past handled by multiple volunteers, and it's a really big role. What she will be doing is controlling the animals that are coming in, you know, and that's strays, animals that are being surrendered by their owners.
Yes.
And the reason it's important is because we're going to have a lot more space for animals, and the demand out there for animals coming in is really high. So you need a central person in charge of that. You can't have it spread out to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And then the adoption side as well. You know, hopefully we're going to increase our capacity, and we're going to increase the number of adoptions we're doing. So that's why we wanted to make that a full-time position. We were fortunate enough to meet Liz who has an incredible amount of experience in the shelter world, but not with animals, with people.
Okay.
So, and a lot of management experience, which we were really looking for to
Sure.
fill this role.
Yeah.
So
Liz, welcome.
Thank you.
To the shelter and to QATV.
Thank
but
you.
not to Quincy. You're a Quincy resident,
Yes,
right?
I am
Yeah.
a Quincy resident, yes.
So tell me a little bit about the Liz Henderson story.
Sure. I spent about 20 plus years working for the city of Boston, overseeing their 2 homeless shelters for adults. And during COVID, I ended up leaving and wanted to try something different. So I saw this position posted, and it just really really interested me. I love animals. We
Yeah.
have 9 animals at our house.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it definitely was I felt like it was a really good fit,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to the new shelter and just expanding our hours and just being more available to the residents.
Yeah, that has been Cassandra, one of the key kind of stumbling blocks to the shelter is
Yeah.
the hours, right?
Right.
You're not able to meet people when they're available, right? You were only open on Saturdays mostly.
Right, and I mean, prior to COVID, we were open. We had 3 different adoption sessions
Yeah.
a week, but with COVID, you know, it kind of wiped that out for a while,
Yeah.
and it's been a struggle to get back to that.
Sure.
And so now, the city, you know, wants us to be open every day because they want the building to be available to the public.
Yes.
And we're totally happy about that.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll
Right,
we'll
yeah.
probably have more traditional hours. We won't be open for adoption from 8:30 to 4:30 because
Yeah.
that's a really long day,
Yeah.
but probably, you know, at least 4 hours a day,
Yeah.
you know, for people to actually come in and look at the animals
Sure,
and,
sure.
you know, check out the shelter.
A
But the
noon to 4
building
kind of thing
itself,
or something? Yeah.
yeah, the building itself will be available to the public because the new building is going to house the Quincy Animal Shelter, which is us,
Yes.
the City of Quincy Animal Control Department,
Yes.
and also the Quincy Police Canine Unit.
Yes.
So it's a multi-purpose building.
All under one roof now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's kind of spread out at the moment. So
Right.
this will be all consolidated.
Right.
How many dogs and cats will we be able to accommodate at the shelter portion?
Well, we have gained a considerable amount of space for cats,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's really good because we always have a lot of cats
Mm-hmm.
that need to be rehomed. So I think we're probably going from about 20 to 25, what we have at East Squantum Street, to about 35
Okay.
at the new shelter.
Okay.
And then with the dogs, we're actually not gaining any kennels for the dogs, but it's going to be, it's different. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, you have empty cages, just take my animal in. Well, it doesn't work that way because we have to be very careful when an animal comes in, especially if it's stray.
Yeah.
It might be sick.
Yep.
It might have something contagious.
Yep.
So we can't just put it out on the floor.
Sure.
And we've operated that way at Broad Street and in East Squantum, but that is far from the ideal.
Okay.
So now animal control is going to have their own dog space.
Oh.
So they will have space that we can also share. So that is actually going to increase our capacity on the intake side.
Yes. So you can
But-
kind of keep them separate
Yeah,
until
we
you
will
shut
have
them out.
spaces,
Yeah.
isolation and quarantine, which
Okay.
we've never had for dogs before. So that's an improvement. And then animal control will have their own spaces for strays,
Mm-hmm.
and also for those dogs that just like to run away from home for a day or two.
Yes.
You know, there'll be spots. So we
Yes.
actually have more kennels, but the animal shelter actually has a couple less.
Okay. all right.
So, but we're okay with that because we'll be open more.
Yes.
The animals won't sit as long.
I was just
Yeah.
to say the
So
turnover will be
the-
quicker.
The
right?
turnover
Yeah.
is going to be much quicker.
Sure,
So,
sure. And now, when someone's dog does, run away, they know that there's one central place up on Quarry Street that they'll
Right.
be able to check to see if
Right.
it's been turned in or captured by the animal control.
Absolutely.
Instead of wondering, gee, do I call the police? Do I call the shelter?
Right.
Don't know where to go.
yeah, hopefully it'll be a lot easier for the public.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Liz, you'll be kind of the front-facing person that folks see when they first come in. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, what will the process be if they come in and they say that I would like to see what you have. I'm interested in adopting.
Sure. So it's going to be much easier just because we have set spaces where the animals that are available will be kind of like front and center.
Yeah.
So not all kind of mixed, which is what we have
Yes.
right now.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely, we would love for people to come in, kind of check out whether cats or kittens or dogs. And then it's usually pretty much a 24-hour turnover as far as checking references and making sure they have a vet set up, and then hopefully finding their forever home.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you've been on the job now for how long?
About 2 months.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
It's everything you thought and more?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I want to take a lot of the animals home, but I was told not.
You have
not,
9,
I have
Liz.
9. I want to get to a 10.
What do you have? I'm curious for animals at home.
We have 3 dogs. We have a couple rabbits and
Okay.
some rats.
Okay, so a wide variety.
Yes.
So plenty of experience.
Yes, definitely.
Dealing with the animals. So you love them, obviously.
I love them.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
So it's fun.
Yes.
It should be fun. I wanted folks to be able to see you so they know, when they go into the shelter, they'll say, oh, that's Liz.
Yes, definitely.
I need to speak with her about either adopting or just seeing what you have, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And also turning in if they're surrendering?
Yes, so we would set up an appointment for someone to come in, and if they needed to surrender their dog or cat,
Okay.
we would get more information about the animal and its behaviors and so forth, so that we can help find a better fit.
Yeah. Can they come in just kind of off the street?
No, we'd like them
okay.
to make an appointment. Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to know. So, Sandra, you said early March, perhaps?
Yes.
Do we have is there going to be like a ribbon cutting and a
Well,
ceremony and
I think
fireworks? And
So it's like moving, from a bungalow to a mansion.
right.
So it's going to take us some time to get
Yeah.
everything in place. The city is hoping for a spring ribbon cutting.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know. We don't have an exact date
All
yet.
right.
Could be the end of March, early April. The building is mostly done.
Is it really?
But there is a series of inspections that have to happen over the next couple of weeks
Okay.
before the construction company will turn the key over to the city.
Gotcha.
And then there's landscaping that has to be done, and I know that they want to do that once the cold weather is over, because it's really beautiful. I
Is
mean,
it?
it's a very welcoming space.
Yes.
And I think that's what the architect and the city was really hoping to accomplish. And we're hoping people feel that way.
Right.
And I just have to. One of the main reasons that we were so interested in bringing Liz aboard is because she's a very welcoming person.
Yes.
And animal
Yeah.
shelters sometimes have a negative connotation, that they're all crazy animal people and they're
Oh.
going to make us feel bad for turning in our
Oh,
animal.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's not, that's something
That's
that
never
we've
been the
never,
Quincy Animal Shelter
no.
way. No,
And-
even under Kid, it was
Right.
never that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's how some people feel, when they get frustrated, that we charge adoption fees and all of that, and we don't make any money on animals. Like we, as far as business is concerned, we lose hundreds of
I
dollars
was just going to
per
say,
animal.
if you want to
Right.
talk strictly in
Yeah.
terms of finances,
Yeah.
go to a retail pet store and,
Right.
and price, do a
Right.
price comparison,
Right. But
and
that's-
you'll see the value that you're getting
Oh, yeah.
through the shelter.
Yeah, so it's like, we want to make sure that people know that we're here for them, because not everyone, people go out with the best of intentions to get an animal, and then something happens in their life and they can't keep it,
Right.
for whatever reason, finances, housing,
Can't bring it back to the
allergies.
store and get a refund.
Right, so,
yeah.
some animal shelters do, judge people, and like I said about Liz, like she understands, what our goal is, that our
Yes.
goal is not to judge people, to help them. And one of the other things that we've been working on is, so I have a woman that I'm working with who has a very elderly cat.
Okay.
And I'm actually working with a woman who has 2 elderly dogs too. And they have health problems. And they can't afford it.
Expensive, yeah.
And, they're on fixed income.
Sure.
So their first
Yeah.
thought is, well, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Yeah,
Well, when they do that, then we're going to have to pay for that.
right.
And the animal is going to be super stressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's going to get worse. Whatever health problem they have, it's going to be exacerbated in a shelter environment. So we try to find ways to let them keep their animals. And if that means, matching them up with a low-cost vet,
Yep.
or maybe helping them out with something, or giving them some food,
Food or something,
or,
yeah,
or whatever it
just to
takes.
defray the
we're-
expense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the shelter is really committed to that, because studies show that animals are better off staying where they're loved, because they don't bounce back all the time,
Right.
when they end up in a shelter. If they're loved, then they should stay there.
Yeah.
And, we're really committed to doing more of that.
Sure. Yeah, I would think, and I would think too, for the animals' sake, to be around their person that they've
Right.
had all their lives, would
Right.
be much more comforting than, as you say, thrown in a shelter situation with
Right.
strangers, who, in a different environment that they
Right.
don't know anything about. Yeah.
Because, our volunteers do an amazing job caring for
Sure,
these
of course.
animals.
Yeah.
But it's not a substitute for a house.
Right.
A home.
Liz, you saw the same thing, I'm sure, dealing with people in Boston,
Absolutely.
right? To find permanent homes for individuals is much better than having them stay in a shelter situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the same thing with animals,
Yes.
right? Absolutely. So the name of the new building, Sandra, is going to be different, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the City of Quincy Animal Care Center.
Okay.
And the reason for that name is it's going to house the 3 different businesses, Quincy Animal Shelter, Inc., which is where we're from.
Right.
We are the
Yep.
nonprofit arm of the City of Quincy.
Yes.
So we're
Yes.
completely separate. And in the new building, we'll be tenants of the city.
Sure.
And one of the things I like to explain to people is we have a fabulous relationship with the City of Quincy, and we are very grateful for the new building and all of that, but we don't get any city, state, or federal funding.
Right.
Everything that we do is through private donations. And the little bit of money that we make off of donations, adoptions, but everything is private.
Yes.
So-
yeah. The city's providing the space for
Right,
you.
they provide the space.
But everything else is
But
on you,
We pay
so-
for all of the animal care. We
Right.
pay for everything.
Yep.
And then the city, animal control officers will be in the building as well.
Yes.
We've always had a great relationship with animal control.
Sure.
And so they bring in the stray animals, and then we take them over after the 7-day hold, because all animals are held for 7 days
Oh,
for their
okay.
owner to hopefully come and claim them.
Okay, all right. And that would be an expense the city would have to incur if they didn't have
Exactly.
the Quincy Animal Shelter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I mean,
so-
our annual operating expenses are about $450,000.
Sure. Veterinarian
Um,
care is very
right.
expensive.
And I found paperwork from when we started in 1999, and our operating expenses were about $40,000.
Is that
so,
right? So
yeah.
they have ballooned in a
Yeah.
pretty short period of time.
Oh
really,
yeah.
When you
And
think
well,
about
it's vet care, it's
Yes.
everything, inflation. It's just, and the addition of a couple of salaries too.
Sure.
But mostly vet care.
Yeah, yeah. Who are the other what are the other full-time positions that you've started?
Our other full-time position is our Director of Operations, and that's Donna Knaber.
Okay.
So she's responsible for all of the vet care, facilitating all of that.
I see.
Just general operations, policies and procedures, making sure that the dogs and cats are properly cared for. So that it's a really big job,
Sure,
And
absolutely.
she's been with the shelter almost 15 years as a volunteer. And then we have a part-time medical manager who works with all of our veterinarians, making sure all the animals get to their vet appointments, making sure they get their medications.
Yep.
She trains our volunteers
Oh.
as to how to give the animals medication during the week. And then we have an IT manager, which I always say, if you asked me 25 years ago if that would be important, because when I started we had pagers and no internet.
Right.
And now everything, his name is Dennis Gibbons, everything that he does, the internet, we have social media, we
Yes.
have all of our adoptions, are now done on Venmo or PayPal,
Sure.
or most of our donations come in through PayPal
Sure.
or Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's a super important job. So yeah, that's what we have right now, and I'm
Okay.
sure, in the next year or two, once we really find out what our needs are,
Yeah.
we'll probably add a few more part-time
I
positions.
was just going to ask if there'll be other
Yeah.
opportunities.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And always volunteers, right?
Always volunteers. Yeah.
As you said, they are the backbone.
They really are.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we have people who just do incredible things for us, and we really, we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that we're super excited about is that in the new shelter, there are 2 things that we were really lucky that the city decided to allow us to have. One is a multi-purpose room, which is a room that we hope to use for public events, training. You know, maybe we might do some dog training. We might do animal first aid and CPR.
Sure.
Small fundraising events. We'll be able to hold our own staff meetings. You know,
Sure.
we've never had a luxury like this
Right, yeah.
before. So that's going to be fantastic. Also, in the case of, say, a flood or some kind of local disaster, we would be able to hold residents' animals,
Very good.
you know, for a short term.
That's key, yeah.
So that we're so happy about. The other thing is we will have our own, we will not have a vet on staff,
Yep.
but we will have our own vet office.
Office, okay.
So we'll have an exam room and even a surgical suite to perform spays and neuters and small surgeries.
We're going to have you back
Yeah.
once you're open to give folks a behind-the-scenes look, and we'll talk about some upcoming events this year, I'm sure, as well.
Perfect.
So thank you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day. Today, not bad, a mix of sun and clouds, kind of windy, but temperatures in the upper 30s, near 40 this afternoon. Down to 20 tonight. Tomorrow is the get ready day. It's bread and milk. It's turning cloudy with highs into the mid 30s. Snow arrives overnight, continues through midday on Sunday. We're talking 4 to 8 here on the South Shore, and sunshine returns on Monday. Thanks again to Sandra Sines, Liz Henderson for joining us from Quincy Animal Shelter. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday here on the show, newly installed president of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce, Tim Cahill, stops by. Meantime, check our website anytime, qatv.org. All of our latest programs are there. There's news, information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.